Learn English through story. The Weaver's Wisdom. In the heart of a thriving kingdom, there was a small, picturesque village named Eldoria. This village was renowned for its exquisite textiles, woven by artisans who had inherited their craft from generations past. The most skilled among them was a woman named Alara. Her tapestries were legendary, not just for their intricate designs and vibrant colors but for the stories they told. People said that each thread she wove contained a piece of her soul. Alara lived a simple yet content life. She had a small cottage at the edge of the village, where she spent her days weaving and her evenings teaching the art to the village children. Despite her fame, she remained humble, believing that her gift was meant to be shared, not flaunted. One day, a messenger from the royal court arrived at Alara's door. The king, hearing of her extraordinary talent, had commissioned her to create a tapestry for his palace. The tapestry was to depict the history of the kingdom, a grand and daunting task that filled Alara with both excitement and trepidation. Accepting the commission, Alara traveled to the capital to begin her work. The king provided her with a spacious room in the palace, filled with the finest silks, threads, and dyes. However, as Alara began to weave, she found herself struggling. The weight of the kingdom's history was heavy on her shoulders, and she couldn't find the inspiration she needed. The threads slipped through her fingers, and her usually nimble hands felt clumsy. One evening, feeling overwhelmed, Alara decided to take a walk through the city. As she wandered, she came across a small, dimly lit shop tucked away in an alley. The sign above the door read "The Weaver's Wisdom." Intrigued, she entered the shop and found an old woman seated behind a wooden counter, surrounded by shelves filled with ancient scrolls and peculiar artifacts. The old woman, sensing Alara's presence, looked up and smiled. "Welcome, child. What brings you to my humble shop?" Alara explained her predicament, and the old woman listened intently. After a moment of silence, she spoke. "You are trying to weave a tapestry of history, but you are missing the essence of it. History is not just events and dates, it is the lives of the people, their joys, their sorrows, their struggles, and their triumphs. You must understand the heart of the kingdom if you wish to capture its true essence." The old woman handed Alara a small, intricately carved box. Inside this box is a spool of thread. It is said to be enchanted. Use it wisely, and it will guide you to the inspiration you seek. Alara thanked the old woman and returned to the palace with the mysterious spool of thread. As she began to weave with it, she felt a strange warmth in her hands. The thread seemed to have a life of its own, guiding her fingers and filling her mind with vivid images and emotions. Over the next few weeks, Alara's tapestry began to take shape. She depicted not just the battles and victories of the kingdom but the everyday lives of its people. She wove scenes of farmers tending their fields, children playing in the streets, lovers walking hand in hand, and elders sharing stories by the fire. Each scene was infused with a depth of emotion and detail that brought the tapestry to life. As she worked, Alara realized that the old woman's words were true. The heart of the kingdom lay in its people, their dreams, and their resilience. By understanding this, she was able to capture the true essence of the kingdom in her tapestry. When the tapestry was finally complete, it was unveiled in a grand ceremony at the palace. The king and his courtiers were astounded by its beauty and the richness of its storytelling. The tapestry was unlike anything they had ever seen, and it moved many to tears. The king, deeply impressed, declared Alara the greatest weaver in the land and rewarded her with gold and precious gems. Alara returned to Eldoria with a heart full of gratitude and a newfound understanding of her craft. She continued to weave, but now her tapestries were even more extraordinary, as they carried the wisdom she had gained from her experience. Years passed, and Elari grew older. She continued to teach the village children, passing on not just the techniques of weaving but the deeper wisdom she had learned. She taught them to look beyond the surface, to understand the stories and emotions that lay beneath, and to weave with their hearts as much as with their hands. One day, as Elara was teaching a young girl named Lyra, she felt a familiar warmth in her hands. She looked down and saw the spool of thread that the old woman had given her. It was almost empty, but there was enough left for one final project. Elara decided to use it to weave a tapestry that would tell her own story, a story of a humble weaver who learned the true essence of her craft. As she wove, Elara felt a sense of peace and fulfillment. She knew that her time was coming to an end, but she was content. She had lived a life of purpose, sharing her gift and the wisdom she had gained. When the tapestry was complete, she hung it in her cottage and invited the villagers to see it. The villagers marveled at the tapestry, which depicted Elara's journey, her struggles, and her triumphs. It was a testament to her life and her legacy. Elara passed away peacefully that night, surrounded by the people she had loved and inspired. In the years that followed, Eldoria continued to thrive as a center of textile art. Elara's students carried on her legacy, creating tapestries that told the stories of their people and their land. The villagers often visited Elara's cottage, now a small museum, to see her final tapestry and to remember the woman who had taught them the true essence of weaving. And so, Elara's wisdom lived on, not just in her tapestries but in the hearts and hands of those she had inspired. The village of Eldoria remained a place where art and life intertwined, a place where the threads of history, emotion, and humanity were woven together in a beautiful and enduring tapestry. I hope you enjoyed the story. If you enjoyed, then please like and share this video and don't forget to subscribe our YouTube channel. Thank you for watching.